All right, good morning. Good afternoon. Let's get the class started right away. So, this is Digital and AI Literacy Class 2. Uh, the first note, we will be examining the Microsoft Windows interface. So, now this is Windows 11 here, and this is the desktop. This screen you are seeing right now. Oh, sorry, let me share my screen so that you see that. So this screen here that you are seeing is called a desktop, and that's the home screen of your computer. That's the home screen of your computer. So we have the desktop icons, which are ways you can open some softwares, and you can create folder on this desktop. You can just right click and you go to new, then new folder. So and then you can name it whatever you want. You press enter and then it is saved. So you can drag any folder anywhere. You can drag it anywhere. And you can rename folders. Once you click on the folder, you can right click again and select, look for the name. If you can't see it here, you can just click show more options. If you are on Windows 10, you will see it clearly, but if you can't see it, just click on show more options. And then you click on the name. And you change it to whatever name you want it to be, and you press enter. So there are shortcuts for doing that. Actually, to create a new folder, you can use the control shift and N. Control shift N. And press that here. That's control button, shift, and what? N. Control shift N. You use that to create a new folder. Use control shift N to create a new folder. How is that working? Okay. So we got a new folder, control shift N. So now, to rename a folder, once you click on the folder, once you select the folder, you see it highlighted. So you press F2. F2. So F2 is to rename. F2 is to rename. Okay? F2 is to rename. So if wherever you are at any time, Windows D takes you back to your desktop. Windows D. That's the Windows logo key. Where you see the Windows logo, that's the Windows key. So Windows D takes you back to desktop at any time. At any time. So there are a lot of all these shortcuts, and there are some of them on the results I shared with you earlier. And they will be in the handbook also, Digital and AI Literacy Handbook, which we have been announcing about, and that's going to be dropped. That's going to be ready soon, right? So these are the app icons, right? At any time, you can add any app icon to the desktop. Let's say there's a folder you have. You can easily add it to desktop. If you click on this now, you can right click. Then you let's show more options. Okay. You say create shortcuts. Okay, just choose send to. So when you choose send to desktop, you're going to see that folder on the desktop as a shortcut. So that's what that does. Now, whenever you delete a folder with just the delete button, when you click on the folder and use the delete button, you can always get the folder back at the recycle bin. They're in the recycle bin here. So once you get the folder you want to restore, just click on it, right click, and then you choose restore. So once you do that, it's back. But if you don't want the folder to go, the file or folder to go to the recycle bin, if you want to delete it straight away, just hold shift down and press delete. Shift and delete. That will ask, do you want to permanently delete it? And you say yes. So if you go to the recycle bin, if you navigate to the recycle bin, you're not going to see the folder or the file there. Now, this lower part of the screen is called the task bar. This task bar shows what you are running currently, the program you are running. If you look at this notepad, you see that there's a dot on the bottom. So the dot shows that I'm working on Notepad, and here I'm working on Chrome. Also, I'm working on File Explorer. These other ones are inactive. That's why there's no dots there. They are inactive. And you have your start menu here. This Windows button. You can use the one on the keyboard also. It will trigger the start menu. Like that. Now you can add some apps that you use often. You can add them to taskbar so that you can easily open them. You can just right click. Once you select, you can right click on it. And then you choose pin to start bar. Okay, if that's not showing, remember, show more options. Then pin to taskbar. Once you click on that, you will have it on the taskbar here. So this is the system tray. This here you see the battery, the speaker, the networks, the time, and all those things. You see them there as the system tray. On the start menu now, remember you can trigger that by pressing the Windows button here. So you have recently used apps or apps that you have pinned, recommended apps, and you can see all apps. You can click on all apps to see all your apps. So the way it will appear on Windows 10 is quite different from the way it appears on Windows 11, but the contents are similar. Contents are the same. You can switch accounts here. You can switch accounts here or sign out. You can lock your PC, and then you can power off or power on here. You can shut down, restart, or sleep. Yeah. So shut down powers off your PC totally. Sleep puts it, just turns off the screen so that there will be low power consumption. So your PC will be on, but then it will not consume power as when it is on, or as when the screen is on. So it won't consume much power. That's just what that is for. Alright. So to access your settings at any time, you can come to the start menu, or you can just type it here, settings. You can type it here, settings, in the start menu here. You can type settings. So, but the fastest way to do that is pressing Windows and I. Windows plus I. So that takes you to settings instantly. Windows I takes you to settings. Now to go to File Explorer at any time, you press Windows E, Windows and E. All these shortcuts, you get access to them. You can just check the document sent earlier. Windows E. So Windows E triggers the File Explorer. Okay, so you have it. I've pressed it multiple times. That's why I have it open multiple times. So if you would like to know some information about your PC, some very important information about your PC, you can just on the start menu you can type about PC, and before you finish typing about PC, you will see it pop up about your PC. You can just press enter or you click on it with your mouse. So there you go. You have the device name, which is this desktop BRP blah blah blah. You can change the name here. You can click on rename PC, and you can change the name. And as you can see, you can use letters, hyphens, and numbers. Now then, you have the processor. The processor is what powers the computer. The processor is responsible for processing data. Let's just put it like that. is responsible for processing data, taking our inputs, turning it to outputs. So the processor here is Intel. Now the Intel is just the manufacturer. So Intel is the manufacturer. Then you have Celeron. Now Intel has different generations of processor. They have the Celeron. There is the Intel Core, there's the Intel Pentium, and so on. But the most common ones these days is Intel Core. Intel Cores are very common. And then you see the generation of the Intel Celeron you have here. And then this is the CPU speed. This is the speed, 1.10 gigahertz. That's the speed. That's the difference. Then you have the RAM, the installed RAM, the random access memory. And that's 4 gigabytes of RAM here. And the device ID, product ID. The system type is 64-bit operating system. 64 bits. Most systems these days are 64 bits. It's rare to see a 32-bit system. Those ones are old. So you can see pen and touch. It has pen and touch support and so on. Then for the Windows, that's the operating system. So it is Windows 11 Pro Education. Then the version is 21H2, and this when it was installed. So that's that about that. You can get that same thing if you go to the Windows Explorer, File Explorer rather, and you come to this PC. If you right click on this PC and you click on Properties, it's going to show that same specific information. Alright. Now, to know details about your memory and storage, you can just press Ctrl Shift and Escape. Though this Ctrl Shift and Escape, Ctrl Shift Escape, the ESC button, Escape, Ctrl Shift and Escape. You press the three simultaneously. Press the three buttons simultaneously. So that brings you here to Task Manager. So under the Task Manager, you can just come to Performance, and you see your CPU, you see your memory, disks you are using. You see your Wi-Fi, the GPU. The GPU is graphical. Is about the graphical processing unit. Yeah, GPU. So now the disk you are using, okay, the type, you know the type. This is SSD, and you see it's 119 gigabyte. That should be around 256 gigabytes. Should be 256 gigabytes. Then the memory here, that's the RAM. As you run. Okay. Now, it can happen that some apps refuse to close or they just hang. There are a number of ways you can work around that. If an app refuses to close, you try to close it, it's not closing, just press Ctrl Shift Escape, which is Task Manager. And you see a list of all your running apps. Then you can click on any one and close them. I'm not going to close Google Chrome because I'm using it, right? But let me just open something else now. Let me open Firefox. Firefox is not opening. Okay, that's opened. So Firefox is opened. So if I want to close Firefox, even if it is refusing to close, as you can see right now, it has not even been displayed, let alone allowing me to close it. So I can just come to Task Manager and then I'll click on Firefox. So click on the app you want to close. You see a list of all running apps. Right click on that app, then click end task. So once you click that, it will close instantly. So we still have it open because I think I opened more than one window of it. So let me right click again and end task. Oh, I have mistakenly closed Chrome, and I was using that. Right. So we talked about the desktop, is taskbar, the start menu, and so on. About PC. Let's talk about files and folders. Now, files are documents on your computer, like maybe Word, Microsoft Word documents, PDF, music. Music is a file. Games, videos, all those stuff are files. And files can be stored in a folder. Now, a folder is like an envelope where you put letters. So files are like the letters you put inside the envelope. But it's possible for us to put a smaller envelope inside a bigger envelope. So we can put folders inside folders. So there can be a big folder having a smaller folder. For instance, okay, I can come here, and then I have Ctrl+Shift+N. I have a new folder, and inside that folder, I create another new folder. So meaning that this is a big envelope, and this is a smaller envelope inside it. So you can have folder inside folders like that. You can keep on having folder upon folder, like that. Alright. Let's talk about file extensions. So the extension of a file usually shows what kind of app you can use to open it. It shows what kind of app or software or program that can run it. For instance, .mp4 files can only be opened with with apps that can play videos only. For instance, this file, to know the file extension, you might not see it on the file name like that. You just, once you click on the file, right click on it, and you go to properties. So if you take a look at this, you see type of file, mp4 video file. It says .mp4. This is the extension of that file. So it opens with VLC media player. Then you can see some other things here. Alright. So if I check this one here, let me right click on it. Properties. It says .docs. Now a .docx docs file is a kind of Word document, something like Microsoft Word document. That's what it is. So .mp3 will be music, and .exe are apps that can be run, that can be executed. So that's that about that. Now let's talk about updating your PC. So update your PC, well, sometimes you can see something here that says, okay, update, your device is missing important update, or you just go to your settings. So once you get to settings, just come to Windows Update, and then it's going to load here, and then you're going to download now, or you just click update, whatever you see there. That's how you update. If you want to set up, if you want to lock your PC, and just come to privacy and security. No, not this. Accounts. You come to accounts. Now it is possible for you to allow someone else to be able to use your PC on your computer, and you will not have access to all your files. What you do is just that you create a new account for the user. Create a new account. This particular account is the administrator of this PC. That's why you see administrator here. And the info. You can see the info here. The image and whatever. So and you can manage the accounts. You can click on manage the accounts, and that's going to take you to control center. That's not what I want to do. Yeah, these sign-in options. These sign-in options. This is where you can put a password, a pin, or whatever. So if you choose password now, I'm going to have to put. Okay, you're going to have to use that password to sign in. So if you click on add, you see new password, confirm password. So once you type what you want to use, you retype it here to confirm, and then now you type a hint. Without that, you will not be allowed to proceed. You don't need to specify, you don't need to give a hint that will just give away your password. You can just give a hint that you know that will remind you of the password, but someone else will just be confused. So once you add that, you can just click on next. I can't click on next until I just create a password. So let me just cancel. You can use a pin also, which is numbers. You can use a pin which is numbers. You can use a picture password if you want. Use a picture password. And if your device is fingerprint enabled and face unlock enabled, you can use those as well. Now let's talk about installing and non-installing apps. Now to install an app, first you need to download something known as the setup of the app, right? And you download that from trusted sites. You don't just go to the internet and download stuff, because you can easily download a malware. A malware is something like a virus, Trojan, or any form of software that can disrupt your device. It can cause a disruption, and it can corrupt your files and do a number of dangerous things to your PC. So I think I have a couple of setups here. So these are two setups I have here. For instance, if I right click and if I click on properties, so whenever you see a type of file called application or .exe files. .exe files are files that you can execute. They are like programs that you can run. So you can run them. They're like softwares. You can run them. So to install this one, I'll just double click. You already have it installed. So installing a new one will just you said the user installer is not meant to be run as an administrator. If you like to install VSO for all users. No, I'm not doing that. So let me just cancel it. So if you want to uninstall, there are a number of ways to do it. You can just go to your start menu and type uninstall. And then you will see this add or remove programs. You can click on it. So you see a list of all your apps. Okay, you can scroll. So if you want to uninstall, you can just click on this option here. And then choose uninstall. Click uninstall, and the uninstall and the app will get uninstalled. So you can also use the control panel. Control panel. So on the control panel, you can also install and uninstall apps. So this is it here. You have programs. When you click on programs, you see programs and features. So you see all your programs and you can easily uninstall. Select and click uninstall. Okay. So the last thing I want to do is that I did an assignment walkthrough with the physical class students all the time. So let me see if I still have that here. Let me see if I still have that here. So of course you know that to access your assignment you have to log into your LMS. You have to log into the LMS. Okay. rubylms.carstech.org. So you sign in, you enter your ID and your password, and click on sign in. Okay. Right. You know what? We're gonna have the assignment working tomorrow. I'm gonna have the assignment working tomorrow. Actually. So let's end the class right now. So tomorrow we have the assignment working. So see you tomorrow.